to my career, but kind of like what we do and how to do it and how we feel and all of those things. So I'm open to opening the floor for a few questions that any of you beautiful people might have about the film industry.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Questions?
Right here, beautiful student with a pass. Have I ever felt pressure to conform? That is a very good question. As a black woman in this business, the answer is absolutely yes. A lot of times, and I know my bros can attest to it, we see projects and roles that kind of pigeonhole us. And yes, they do identify some of the people in our culture. It does not truly identify and relate to who we are as a people. And so sometimes it's frustrating when I get the nothing but sexy girl roles. Because I'm more than a sexy girl, and before I put my clothes on, I'm not even a sexy girl. So, the idea of who I am in the box that they put me in is kind of frustrating, because I'm such a multifaceted person with so much to offer. And that's when you have to find yourself being selective with roles, which is hard, because sometimes the money's good, the director's good, the project's good, but the role really doesn't do anything for the culture. And so you're kind of stuck with the question and with the pressure of, do you do it for the money and for your career, or do you do it for the culture? And for me, at this point in my life, with a 3-year-old daughter turning 4, planning to have more children, and being a lover of my community and a lover of my culture, it's very difficult for me to sacrifice my morals and my goals for a role. So I'll wait, I'll hit a runway before I take a role that I feel pressure that's not for me. Do you guys ever feel pressure?
So, a couple of years ago, there was this role that I had to do. It was on the Carmichael show, and it was for me to play a transgender. And my mom was like, are you comfortable with doing this? Are you okay? I'm like, of course. I mean,
You did really good, by the way. It was such a good role.
Thank you. But to me, it's just, acting, and I don't do it to just act. I actually want to inspire other people. And with that role, playing a transgender, I've got many DMs and messages on my Instagram saying like, I influenced them to open up and tell their parents that they were transgender or anything like that, and that just made me so happy. And that's basically why I love acting. I love it. I love it.
Nice.
Now, a lot of you guys might not know who I am, you might have seen my face or might things like that. I am Greenleaf with Miss Oprah, so that way you can, get rid of some of that confusion. But yes, there are some things that have came my way that I had to turn down, okay? Because there are things that I stand for as a grown man, trying to be a good model for a lot of you guys out here, so you can see, that you have to stand for something. So there are roles that I have turned down that went against my moral values that I want to maintain for you all. And it's just all about your personal preference and where you feel yourself going and where you're trying to position yourself in this world. So you have to know what that is, find a purpose for it, and stand home.
Yeah.
Okay? Next question. Yes, young lady.
Do you have any colleges that you would recommend for talent?
That's an interesting question. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't go to school, I didn't go to film school, acting school, none of that. I didn't even go the traditional route. I was an extra, guys. I got on the project as an extra and then got bumped up to a main role with Miss Oprah Winfrey. So, and then that led to a lot of other situations. So I can't answer that question because I didn't go that route, but maybe Eva can.
So I'm a product of Clark Atlanta University, a historical black college in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was a part of the Mass Communications Department, which is a really cool department to be a part of if you plan on doing anything in TV or film, because the courses run the gamut. Like, you really learn everything from interpersonal to business professional communication to radio to TV to film. It was a requirement for me in school to do student films. I was a part of the AUC Players, which was basically our theater department. Don't get me wrong, there's schools like USC that have the most amazing film and theater department, but I don't think that that's necessary or required for you to become an amazing thespian. You can do that, or amazing film writer or actor at any school that concentrates on mass communication. So keep your grades up, apply to all the schools that you can get into, and then look at some of your favorite actresses and kind of like, you can go online now on Wikipedia and find out everybody's history. Look at Kerry Washington, find out what Kerry Washington studied. When I was in New York studying acting, I was over at Black Nexus with Susan Batson. And that's where I got a lot of my training, along with TVI Actor Studio. So even after college, a lot of my training came from other classes that had nothing to do with my schooling. So to your testament, you don't particularly have to go to college to become an amazing actor, but what it does do is it gives you a foundation that no one can take away from. So now, as an actress, I understand behind the camera. I was the boom operator in college. So now when I'm on set, I'm known to be very gracious to the crew because I respect the crew, because I was crew. I was crew before I was ever an actress. And so understanding both sides, understanding what your DP really does, it allows you to have a better respect for the game and a better understanding of what you're doing. And you'll most likely transition into a producer director a little bit quicker. What about you?
Since I was 10, in 4th grade, I went to a performing arts school in Jackson, Mississippi. And that's where I got into theater. I did several musical plays, one-act plays, that introduced me to monologues. And basically, we've had to do these auditions where, they have to pick the cast, and they actually pick the stage managers, and you could be a costume designer and everything like that. So one time I was a stage manager, so I knew everything. I knew the basics. I knew where to go, the stage, what part of the stage and stuff like that, the stage directions and everything like that. So I loved being a part of that school. And right now I'm actually in a public school in Atlanta, Georgia. I play football and baseball, and I'm an actor. I managed to juggle all of those things because of my mom. She for me, and I'm just really here to tell y'all that anything's possible. Y'all just drive y'all's minds to do it. Y'all can do it. One more question.
Make it a good one. Another good. Somebody got a question. You?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to ask her about her jacket.
My jacket is a designer that I often wear now. His name is OTT Dubai. He's a black guy that lives in Dubai with a lot of Japanese inspiration. And I like to wear his clothes because he wasn't really well known prior to me rocking a lot of his stuff. But like you guys, I think that he's an amazing artist just waiting to, for the world to see his glory and the world to see his shine. So I'm honored to wear his stuff. His name is OTT Dubai. He's so dope. Thank you. We had some, yes ma'am.
So, for people that suffer with diabetes and stuff like that, I was just wondering if you guys go through any of that, before you shoot, or walk down the runway, or even talking to somebody.
It's real. Your humanity is no different than my humanity. I am you, you are me. No, I'm so serious. You are me. My soul is your soul, you my sister. So I am you, you are me. When you get scared, I'm most likely scared too. You know what I mean? I don't face issues or face problems in any different fashion than anyone else here. When I walk into a set, I get anxious. My nervous tendency is to sweat. It is so frustrating because with silk garments, it is not cute. So I use these things called sweat guards that are super duper old school, but you put them under your thing so when you sweat, no one knows. So I say that and tell you a little bit of my little secrets just to let you know that you're not alone. I remember I went out for a role on a movie called 21, and I was young and I smashed it, but the casting director said she kept shaking her leg. I was so freaking nervous that I could not stop my leg from shaking. All up here was fine. My read was great, but my leg kept shaking. And the casting director was afraid that when I shot, that I would still be shaking. And so we all have our nervous tendencies, but I think it's up to you to kind of figure out how to deal with them and not to let them kind of overcast or cloud what it is you're trying to do, because that's just a natural human chemical reaction. Do you ever get nervous?
Let me tell you. When I first started acting, on stage and everything like that, I used to sweat down a storm. I don't even know. And I used to just ask my theater teacher I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I can do this or blah blah blah. But that was one of my first plays, and they comforted me, told me that I could do it. And my parents, my mom and my dad, they both told me, just do you. Don't try to make everyone else like you. Just do you. If they don't like you, then they don't like you.
That's right. That's right.
As you could imagine, I was definitely very anxious, a little bit nervous on my first set with Ms. Oprah.
Yeah.
Because someone like that, a lot of you are young, quite young, so you might not know her story, but she's a dynamic individual, just a person. Forget a woman, just as a person on this earth. And so now, with everything that she's been through, we've seen her growth, we've seen her, how she's risen. And so what you do, you feel a sense of pride and to be able to work with someone like her, and you want to do your best. You don't want to let her down, especially when she believes in you. And it's just like any other situation. You don't want to let your parents down. You don't want to let your teachers down. And anybody that looks to you just as, to be in a relationship with you, just as people. So yes, I've definitely gotten nervous, but like they said, you just come into yourself, realize and remember who you are. I don't care if you're 5, I don't care if you're 50. You've experienced something in life. And you just lock into that, say, you know what? I'm cool with who I am. And then you just let it out and just let it go and express. Right?
All right, so I want to thank